I
This
think we have a
Thursday.
community channel meeting on this Thursday there, but
Oh,
I'm
well,
not
we'll
sure.
just fill you in.
Okay, no, well, maybe I could work out both. What time is it at on Thursday?
6:30.
6:30. Okay. So anyway, what we're going to do, Carol, is we're just going to recap the actual event so people will know the date, what's going on again. So the walkathon for diabetes
Actually, it's a walk.
it's
not
a walk.
walkathon.
It's not a
walk
walkathon.
to cure. Yeah.
Walk to cure. Let's say this well then. Okay. And that's on May 30th.
Yep.
That's a Saturday.
Sunday.
A Sunday. Okay. And it starts at 8 till 10:30 is the
That's
registration.
Registration, just to give some people, you don't want everybody in at the same time.
Same time. Okay.
Yeah.
And the actual walk starts at 10:30. What
Yep.
time does it finish?
Last year, when we've walked in North Bay, I walk slow. So it's taken me a good hour and a half. But I mean, we walk, we chat, we stop, we have a snack, we drink, visit the little porta potties. And,
Okay.
But yeah, it's about maybe an hour and a half to 2 hour walk, depending on the person. Some people last year were rollerblading, but we're not advising that this year. Just
Come and walk and relax and enjoy it.
Yeah, and if you can't do the whole walk, I mean, the fact that you're there just supporting is just enough.
So if someone doesn't complete the walk, I mean, there's still going to be...
There are no security guards showing how many kilometers you
Just the
walk.
fact that they came out to support it, no
Yeah.
matter if they've done 5 minutes or 1 kilometer or whatnot,
Yeah.
they've came out to give their
We're
support.
going to have a few people on site, in case of an emergency,
Sure.
just to keep things safe.
Well, that's a good thing. I think it's a wonderful gesture. You have a good committee helping you out here, and a lot of people determined to make sure this thing works out.
Definitely.
So let's hope that everything goes over well. And on May 30th is the Walk for Cure for diabetes. That we're trying to promote this to people. Don't forget it. You want to get involved. You want to put in a team. You want to be a team leader. Contact Carol. Contact anybody in the committee. They'll gladly take your name, and what we're looking for is money to raise for a cure.
That's right.
Right?
Yep.
Well, Carol, I'll wait for the call for the meeting, and try to be there, and let's hope everything goes well for you.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming on and talking about it.
Thanks for letting me come.
Stay tuned. I have a second guest coming on. It's a prize for you. as I promised you, a second guest, as we've been trying to bring you new ideas to the Channel 13, so we keep you tuned in. Here's a brand new one for you. We're going to talk about scuba diving, and it's something that might bring of interest to a lot of people. And here with me tonight is Danny Moray. How coincidental, it's my brother. Hi Danny, how are you?
Fine, thank you.
Good. Danny, what made you get into scuba diving?
Oh, geez. Many years ago when you were a kid,
That's
swimming.
a long time ago.
Yes, very long. You're diving, you're swimming, you're always curious, picking things up off the bottom. And I've always wanted to get into scuba diving as I learned more about it. But I waited too long. I was 5 years into it now, I'm 42.
But you know, if you would have got into it earlier or just 5 years ago, you're still, you've come a long way because you teach now.
I enjoy teaching. I enjoy diving so much that I got into teaching.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we're going to get into that in a moment. How old were you, Danny, when you did your very first scuba dive?
How old was I?
Yeah.
I was 30.
Come on, do
37.
The maths.
Do the maths.
37. And where did you do your first dive?
Trout Lake.
Okay.
But we also did our first dive was in the pool. I'll get into that later on.
Into the pool, okay. Yeah. When you went scuba diving for the first time, how did it feel?
Oh, awesome. Like a whole new life.
And you only did it in the pool.
That's right.
But when you did it in the actual ocean or lake, what was the difference of your feeling?
Oh, you can't explain it. You got to try it to feel it.
Okay. And how deep of a dive did you go?
On the first dives, certification dives, we're only allowed to go down 30, 40, and 50 feet in fresh water. Salt water, you're allowed 60 feet. So the reason is your open water dive is just a license to learn anywhere in the world.
Okay. What did you have to do to become a certified scuba diver?
Well, you started off taking academics, classwork, and then you do confined water, which is pool work. Then you have 5 open water dives in the natural environment, a lake or an ocean.
Okay. And did you get to choose where you were going on it, or
No,
were you brought to the...
We were brought to this site.
Okay. Now I want to know, Danny, what you did to obtain your first dive. Where you actually went to do your first dive.
Our first dive was in Trout Lake in North Bay.
Okay.
And our first dive, everybody's on the site. We're putting our gear together. We were taught in a classroom in confined water how to put our gear together. And then we're in the water. We plan our dives. We go in with a dive master or an instructor, and they take you down for your dives. You always go do your deeper dive first, then you do your shallower dive.
And what's the difference?
Because of the difference in the pressure of the water, you have to
Okay.
do your deeper first because of nitrogen in your body. So then you do your shallow dive after.
Oh, see, and I would have thought it would have been the opposite. Shallow meaning...
No, always do your deep dive first because of nitrogen. The deeper you go, the more pressure you put on your body. The more pressure you got on your body, you're breathing compressed air. So the deeper you go, the air compresses again, as well as your body.
Okay.
So you're taking bigger volumes of compressed air in. And as you're coming up, your ascent rate is 1 foot every 2 seconds.
Oh.
You have to ascend very slow, and you have to do a safety stop at 15 feet.
And what is
15
the
to 20
purpose
feet
of that?
to outgas, let out nitrogen out of your body.
Okay. And every 15 feet you have to do that? And
Not every 15 feet. When you're coming up the surface, you have to stop at 15 to 20 feet for 3 minutes, depending how long you were down, how deep you were down. Or if you're doing compression dives, you don't do, unless you're at specialty training.
Okay. Scuba diving. Where does the word, where did scuba come from? And how did it get its name?
Well, I believe its name came from Jacques Cousteau back in the time when he was out diving and out on the wrecks, discovering all his wrecks and reefs and
Okay.
ships.
Right.
Yeah.
And scuba?
Scuba, what scuba stands for is self-contained underwater breathing apparatus.
Wow. See, it makes me wonder if a lot of people really knew what it means. I guess if you take the course or teach it, you have to learn all this because you have to teach it to the others.
That's right. You have to teach other students.
Okay. You also work for a company that's called
Water Sports North.
Water Sports North?
Yes.
Or Naui?
Naui.
Naui?
Naui.
Sorry. Okay, what does that mean, Nawi?
NAUI, NAUI stands for National Associations Underwater Instructors.
And are you affiliate? Like, are you paid by them to go and do
Actually,
dives?
not. We pay NAUI for our instructors. As an instructor, you have to pay for insurance as well.
Okay.
We pay them because it's worldwide. I can go anywhere in the world to train, to teach,
As long as you have your NAUI card.
as long as I have my NAUI instructor card.
Okay. And I notice you have quite a bit of instructor cards there. Each card obviously represents a different thing.
That's right. There's specialty diving. First of all, you start off with open water 1, which
Okay.
is your maximum depth in fresh water, again, is 50 feet. Salt
Okay.
water, 60 feet. Open water 1 is just a license, like a temporary driver's license. You're learning how to dive.
Okay.
So you can go anywhere in the world with it, but you have to keep a logbook as well. You have to log your dives and how much hour you have, because different organizations, different paddy divers, down in Caribbean, down in resorts, they'll ask for a logbook. They want to know when you dove last. If you haven't dove within 2 years or whatever, they might give you a refresher course,
Or they can refuse you.
or they
maybe?
can refuse you.
Okay.
Exactly.
What are some of the conditions that somebody must know if they're going to become a diver?
Well, first of all, they have to fill out a form. We have to know if there's any medical problems. If you're claustrophobic, diving's no good because here in the waters, the water's dark. Salt water, you can have visibility from between 50 feet and 200 feet.
Wow. So that's a lot.
Yeah.
What type of recommendations can you give to people wanting to take a course to dive?
Well, we offer a course called Discover Scuba. We'll get you into a pool or shallow water. We'll put the gear on you, and we'll see if you're comfortable enough to breathe with it. And if you're comfortable, you can continue going on, continue education.
I guess one of the key factors, this sounds silly, but if you're going to become a scuba diver, you should know how to swim. Is that correct?
Yes and no. As long as you're comfortable in the water, we do have a swimming test. But you don't have just to prove that you're comfortable in the water. If you're we have divers that don't swim.
Really?
When you're taught properly of the gear, the safety of the equipment, that is the difference between a resort course and a standard course like we give. A resort course, they'll get 2 hours, they'll put you in the pool, they'll take you diving. They don't care, they want your money. Us, we'll spend 6 days, 3-4 hours a night.
Okay, just so you can have the proper training from
That's
A to
right.
Z, get yourself associated with your equipment.
Exactly.
And your
We walk you through it. And a lot of my students, I'll hold their hand. Your first sign of panic is somebody's going to squeeze your hand
okay.
or their eyes. If you're close enough, you're going to look into their eyes. But hold their hand. And you can tell your students after a while if they're going to be nervous or whatever. When you watch them how to assembling their gear, how they get into the water. So you pick up their
If they
flaws.
shake, stuff
Exactly.
like that, perspire for no apparent reason. But you said you have scuba divers that don't swim. I'm just amazed by that because most people who don't swim are fear of the water.
Exactly. Once you get over your fear, you got it made. That's why we teach in confined water. A pool, you start at the shallow
You
end.
touch the bottom.
You're touching the bottom.
That's right.
And we get people comfortable with the suit. And we show them, with the suit, you're positive buoyant. Positive buoyant means you're going to float to the surface no matter what.
It doesn't matter if you have big lips or not. It's just
No,
you need
that's
to-
right.
I'm just kidding. So, I mean, that eases it and
That's
it
right.
shows.
You
it-
talk them through. And you be patient. You got to be a lot of patient with them. You don't want to scare them. And you
Okay.
can tell right off the bat. So you want to take your time with your students.
Wow. I mean, I know this is a little off, but I remember going with somebody who couldn't swim. And I was trying to teach him how to swim, and he almost drowned me because he panicked. He was
That's
fear
right.
of the water.
They will
And
panic.
They will panic.
And the way...
Has it happened where somebody
Not
has
with me, but as an instructor, we are taught if someone should panic, we leave them unattended until they calm down. If they can't calm down, they're going to float. They're going to stay on
unattended because
surface.
you're in a pool?
That's right.
You're not going to take them.
But
to the
9
lake.
times out of 10, nobody's going to panic in a pool because we're in the shallow end of the water.
Have they
Well,
ever panicked in a lake?
We've had divers panic at 60, 70 feet where we have to make emergency ascent and bring them to surface.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's-
And these are people that can swim.
And that's scary because you said 60, 70 feet.
That's right.
How long does it take you to get from the bottom of 60 feet to the surface?
1 foot every 2 seconds.
Wow.
And some people, when they panic, they'll inflate their BCD. They'll head to the surface too fast. As an instructor, I got to try to slow them down. I'll dump all my weight or air out of my BCD,
Okay.
and I will grab their foot if I can slow them down. If I can't, we'll let them go to surface. At 50 feet, there's not much of a danger. There is a danger of bends, but at 50 feet, they they will 90% of the time they won't end up at the bends.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow, that's
in
really
shallow water.
impressive.
But if they're down at 100 feet, they can end up at the bends. But why put two people at jeopardy if the other one is panicking?
That's so true. That's an
You'll
understanding.
attend them when you get to the surface,
Okay.
or the boat, the dive.
Wow, that's a true statement, because so many people, you know, if you're trying to help somebody, what happens is the person trying to help you is actually the one that's more at
end up-
jeopardy.
That's right.
Could drown.
That's
and
right.
is
They're
probably
gonna
more.
they're gonna drown you. They're gonna panic. They're gonna grab your rig. They're gonna try to save their lives.
That's right, because they don't understand. It's the fear taking over.
Exactly.
I know you're after my boys for this, and just so the people know at home and the public viewing, how old would you recommend, or how old should they be if they're going to go take a scuba diving, any type of scuba diving course?
Well, there's scuba rangers. We're looking at getting into that, where that's confined water only, pool work,
Cool.
where one instructor to two students.
Okay.
And now the age is 12 and up. 12 with parent consent.
Okay. And that's confined.
That's right.
Confined.
That's True Naui Association.
Okay. But you don't take them in the lake.
Yes, we do.
You do take them in
We
the
take
lake.
them to confined water. The reason confined water is you're not stirring up the bottom. So confined water, it's a pool, it's clean, there's nothing to do. You're not gonna, you can see everybody. If you take them into the natural environment, they stir up the bottom. So we take them to confined water first, get them all comfortable. We'll spend more time on a student. We can pick them out if they have a weak point.
Okay.
And if they have a hard time, you know, we'll pick them up. We'll spend one-on-one. One instructor on this one person, one student.
Okay.
Yeah.
So 12 years old.
12 years till whatever, 70, 80, if you're healthy.
I know you were after Nathan to do it, and
That's
he's been
right.
bugging me and all that, but maybe he won't see this show there. I'm sort of putting it off. It's called maybe Fear too on my behalf. I think it would be a good thing for him. He's a responsible kid, but I just have this feeling.
It's
like
only normal for a mother to fear.
Yeah, that's true.
On a dive site, we have a lot of parents come and they're concerned about their kids. And if you see us on a dive site, we're around the students. We don't let them go. And like I said, we can pick out the weak ones. We'll hold their hand.
Are they roped?
No, they're not roped.
They're not
because
roped.
they get tangled up in rope.
Okay.
You don't want to get tangled up. And tangle up is fishing line. There's a lot of fishing line in the bottom of the waters. And it happened to me. It'll happen to anybody. They all get tangled up in it.
So your I'm trying to think of them. Your fins. Is that what's?
Your fins will get tangled up. Your legs. The more you kick, the more you're going to get tied up into it. You won't be able to move. So we
okay.
carry a knife as a tool to cut fishing line.
In case something happens.
And we teach all this in confined water. How to take your gear off, how to put your gear on underwater, take your mask off underwater, put your mask back on underwater.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know, I took it once at a resort, jumped in the pool, thought it was real cool, and I never jumped out so quick in my whole life because I wasn't breathing properly with the apparatus.
Did the instructor go in with you?
No.
That's a mistake.
Yeah.
That's a resort
He was
course.
on the side. You're
That's a
right.
resort course.
Yeah.
As a Naui, we go into the water, into the pool. We have to be in the water. If something happens, that guy's talking to somebody else, not paying attention, he might drown.
True. True.
So resort course, they want your money. They don't care about you. They get your money, they'll take you out. And if something should happen, you end up at the bend, you can't go after them.
You're right. Okay, you're starting to ease my mind there, but I still haven't been convinced for Nathan yet. What have you learned, Danny, in all the ventures that you have done in scuba diving?
Oh, I've learned
Every time you go down and you dive, there must be something new happening or some kind of different experience.
every dive is different,
Okay.
even if it's the same site. Could be fish, could be the bottom, could be garbage that people throw on bottom of the lakes. Every dive is different. And in Trout Lake, you would be surprised how much garbage there is in there.
In the bottom of the lake.
Yeah, so every dive is different.
What's the deepest you've ever went in a dive?
The maximum I can go, any open water dive, a sport diver, is 130 feet.
That's deep.
130 feet is specialty diving. Okay, that's a different course. That's continuing education. Advanced diver is 100 feet. 90 feet freshwater, 100 feet saltwater.
Oh my. I don't know.
He does not do this. He
No.
only does open water one,
Right.
and you never dive alone.
Okay. So when you do go diving, no matter where you go, do you always go with somebody?
Always.
You're not supposed to go alone. You said.
We do teach alone. There is solo diving where
Okay.
you carry an extra bottle of air with you. In an emergency, that air will get you to the surface.
When you guys go diving under the water, There's some kind of symbolic thing that you put out on top for the people to know that there's divers there. What is it?
It's called a dive flag. Actually, you can see it right here. This is the dive flag.
The red and white
This is
symbol.
right. Yeah, we have a blue and white one as well called the Alpha flag. This one here floats on the water, and the Alpha flag should float on a vessel of a boat, telling people that anybody around is divers in the water.
Now, does it mean that you're in this area?
That's
you have to
right.
be marked off, right?
According to the Canadian Coast Guard, a boat can enter your dive site.
A boat can enter it.
Yes, as NAUI, we teach our students that boats should stay within 100 feet away.
Yes, because he doesn't know how deep you are. You
Yeah,
could
and
get
if we
hit
have
with
to
a
do an
propeller.
emergency ascent, we have to come up fast. We're going to come up to the surface. And
Right.
if a boat's coming through our dive area,
You
well,
could get hit with the
we,
propeller.
yeah, we can hear the boat. You'll hear the boat far away.
Okay.
Sound travels 4 times faster underwater than it does on land.
Okay. You've had some amazing things that you've done under the water, some things that you have found. You went scuba diving and you found some findings. You want to tell us what you have found?
Sure, it is. You would be surprised. Pop bottles, medicine bottles, like I said, garbage in Trout Lake.
Right.
From car battery to refrigerator, transmissions. It's unreal.
It's pollution in the
It's
bottom
pollu-
of
Yes,
the lake.
but boats. There's old rowboats. Spring Lake here behind McConnell Lake. There's an old boat in there. It has a winch on the front. It's in about 60 feet of water. We take all our divers to it. Very nice site.
What about when you're down in the Caribbean? In the many ventures that you've had, you've been down south. You've been very fortunate to go scuba diving in a lot of areas, traveling a lot. What about when you're in the Caribbean and you're scuba diving? What are some of your findings that you came about with?
Sharks.
Yeah, that was
Sharks. A lot of fish. Groupers, barracudas, stingrays, moray eels, name it, lobsters, squid. We see it all. We do night dives. We do in the Caribbean because visibility is so clear in the salt water.
The water is clear.
The reefs,
Later on, people are going to see the video that you were scuba diving with the sharks, and you're so close that you're actually touching it with your hand.
the sharks are actually touching us
Or
and moving
touching
us
you.
underwater.
It's scary. I mean, the first time I saw the video, I thought for sure that where's the beef? Well, they were coming after you, and
A lot of my friends that saw the video said they thought I wasn't all there, but I was not even nervous at all.
not even a tad.
Not
like-
even a tad. I was more nervous in Trout Lake when a pike come at me than the sharks.
because the sharks are pre-fed, aren't? Are they
We
not?
feed them underwater, yes,
Okay.
but that doesn't mean they're not going to attack you.
Do you wear special equipment when you're feeding under the water?
No.
Don't tell me that. Really?
Yeah, you'll see. We just have our wetsuit on, normal gear.
Okay.
Even the feeder himself, he showed us one time where he got bit on the knee from a shark.
Oh God, that's and
Yeah.
it like you would think that the sharks being so close to you, how vicious they may be.
Oh yes.
You know, something must come
As
about.
we're going in with the shark dive, they tell us to keep our hands close to our body because it's not the shark you're reaching out to touch. The shark coming behind you might think that's something to eat.
Oh,
You don't see what's coming from behind you.
true. Oh, I don't know. You really have to have the courage to go down there and do what you do because,
Oh no, if you enjoy diving, it's not a problem.
well, to dive is one thing, but I don't know, to risk these big creatures coming after you, that's another thing. But people will see it after on the video. You will be amazed at how close they are, the contact of them.
You will
like Denny
see
said.
in video where regulator, if he edited it in, regulator, the shark knocks it right out of the guy's mouth.
Oh my. So I mean, this is actually real. It happened. It's not fake. It's not like
No glass
anything
cage
put
or
together.
anything. Yeah.
This is the real TV that we're going to call it on Channel 13 when it plays. Danny, you were very fortunate, again, as I mentioned, to be able to travel in the Caribbean, do a scuba diving for your,
Certifications.
yeah, I can say the name, NAUI.
NAUI.
In all the places you went, is there certain places that you like more than others?
No, I like them all. To be honest with you, I like the Caribbean
The Caribbean.
because every dive is different. The reef, you can go back to that same reef, an hour later it'll be different. Could be a marine life, sharks,
Okay.
dolphins, whatever.
It's all different.
It's all different.
Um,
Turtles,
How long is your certification good for?
life.
So you're certified. You have
yes.
all your cards.
Your open water one, your advanced, your specialty diving cards are guaranteed for life. Your nitrox course is guaranteed for life. Your instructor and dive master, you have to renew every year. dive master and instructor. Dive master will help an instructor teach a class.
Okay. And you have to renew that all the time.
That's right, because NAUI is worldwide. You have to pay for your license to teach, and you got to prove that you can teach, and then you got to have your insurance.
Wow.
They don't give you your card for nothing. If you don't have
You have to
insurance,
work for it.
that's right. You have to earn it. You have to take a course and everything, and you have to prove you can do it.
Well, it's like anything else, you know, the CPR, First Aid, St. John's. If you don't renew those every second year, you
As
don't-
an instructor, we have to do it.
That's a
we have
good
to know how to emit oxygen, CPR, first aid. We have to know that rescue, search and rescue. We all have to know all that as an
Okay.
instructor.
So there's a lot to know. One, to be an instructor. Two, for the people out there who are coming to take the course.
That's right.
Danny, what is
That's
the
right.
difference between a wetsuit and a dry suit?
This here is a wetsuit I have here in front of me. A wetsuit will hold the water in the suit. When you jump into water,